A former morgue manager of the Harvard Medical School, Cedric Lodge, has been charged with selling body parts, heads, brains, skulls, bones, and other human remains without the knowledge, of course, of the Harvard Medical School or of the families of the deceased. So here he is walking out of the courtroom being asked, well, what does he think about the families whose loved ones he dismembered? And he doesn't have anything to say.
I'm not touching you. Get out of my way.
Mr. Lodge, some of those families have called us horrified, wondering if it was their loved one. Do you have anything you want to say to them?
Cedric Lodge, here's a photo of him and the Harvard Medical School, very prestigious. Not so much anymore. More on him. He is a 63-year-old. Lodge's 63-year-old wife. Also, this is more background. His wife Denise and two alleged buyers: 44-year-old Katrina McLean of Salem, 46-year-old Joshua Taylor of West Lawn, Pennsylvania, were also charged in the indictment released Wednesday. The Lodges appeared in federal court in Concord, New Hampshire, Wednesday afternoon. That's graphic 2. And then graphic 3, this is again one of the buyers, McLean, appeared in a federal court in Boston Wednesday afternoon, where she was charged with transporting stolen goods within and without of state lines. The maximum sentence for this is 10 years, but she was let go by the judge since this is a non-violent offense, but she'll have to report in court in Pennsylvania at some point. I mean, on the topic of an unequal justice system, we just got done talking about Donald Trump getting away with, showing people classified documents that he kept. Meanwhile, people accused of petty crimes, a small amount of marijuana possession, are still being held awaiting their trials, awaiting everything that is happening to them. Oh, I'm just selling body parts. Oh, you can go free. Yeah, that's fine. You just go, we don't need to hold you, no. My God. Okay, so I just wanna, here's a picture of one of the people who've been charged. I believe this is McLean, Katrina McLean. She, and this is important to know about her, on the right there, that's her door to, this is a little creepy, her store that is called Cat's Creepy Creations. And the FBI started searching that store back in March. She's been accused of selling and storing human remains at that shop. But that's fine, you could go. Please, go back to your creepy creations that definitely has a few basements with actual human body parts. This is wild. There's a little bit more before I kick it to you, Mondale. 2 others were also charged in this investigation. Apparently, a lot of people are buying body parts. 52-year-old Matthew Lampy of East Bethel, Minnesota. 41-year-old Jeremy Pauley of Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. A 7th-person Candace Chapman Scott of Little Rock, Arkansas, was indicted earlier. She's accused of stealing and selling body parts from a mortuary and crematorium. According to the criminal complaint, the object of conspiracy was to, quote, profit from the interstate shipment, purchase, and sale of stolen human remains. In one instance, prosecutors said McLean agreed to purchase 2 dissected faces for $600 from Cedric Lodge in October 2020. Lodge and his wife allegedly sold the body parts to McLean and Taylor and others, and sometimes shipped those remains through the United States Postal Service to Pennsylvania and elsewhere. Oh my God. You guys, this is not, I'm selling vital organs that can be reused. I am, helping someone live, giving them, this is, I'm selling skin, I'm selling bones. This is all gonna be someone's weird spirit Halloween knockoff, like bizarre stuff. Mondale, Harvard.
You can get dissected faces for 600? That's cheaper than Tom Ford cologne.
I know, God, all the skincare that I put into my face, if they sell it for less than 300, wow.
Here's the tragedy. This happens way more than we know. Like there's a huge market for selling stolen body parts. Usually it's people in funeral homes that are doing this, right? Bad actors. And then when they get caught, they face long terms, 20+ years. I think the last 2 people got caught, one in Colorado and then one in a southern state. So this is absolutely more normal than we talk about regularly, right? Mainly because we think these people are treating our deceased family members with respect and dignity and putting their bodies in the place where we ask them to. But no, they're selling body parts through UPS next day air. And I think this is absolutely crazy to me. The fact that these people are walking around the street, all of you should be held without bond. And then they call it a non-violent offense. How is this not violent?
Yeah.
It's not physical violence to a human, but there's all types of forms of violence, and stealing body parts has to classify as violent.
Absolutely. Interestingly, and a little bit of an aside, I did a story on donating your body to science for National Geographic Explorer, right? And we actually learned exactly as you're saying that, it is difficult to procure bodies, cadavers, to even like medical schools have difficulty when, every pre-med student has to dissect a human body, that's part of it. They have to understand anatomy. It's not easy. And, in like old times, oftentimes we would experiment on prisoners. So I guess we're making strides, but still it's bizarre that a market like this exists. It is absolutely disgusting, and that this was going on underneath the noses of the Harvard deans. We're gonna talk about it in a second. But I just wanna say, there should not be a market for this, because there is a way to donate, bodies and to lovingly treat, if we actually honor the dead, treat those bodies. For example, in the story that I did, after the medical school is done with the dissection, this was at the University of Pennsylvania, they actually hold a wake. They hold a ceremony for the families, thanking them for donating their bodies so that they could learn more about the human body and human anatomy. That's not what this is. And oh my God, can we 3D print stuff? Is that good enough? What's going on? But here's a picture of the deans. Harvard Medical School deans, they said they expressed their they're morally reprehensible. The reported incidents are a betrayal. And most importantly, each of the individuals who altruistically chose to will their bodies to HMS through the anatomical gift program to advance medical education research. So exactly, these are the people I'm talking about. And this is happening under their, when you say you want to donate your body to science, you don't mean I then want my loved one's body or my body to be sold to some weirdo's creepy crawly Halloween store. Anyway, I don't know. Any final thoughts?
I listen, for the comfort of those 2 white men, at least they know if they get fired by Harvard, they're gonna get $25.6 million from a jury probably.
The racial discrimination. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. You could make a weird mask. Learn how to create something out of paper mache. Whatever happened to that?